As we move into the summer intensive season, it's really important to think about hydration. This goes for wherever you are really during the summertime. We need to dial into your hydration needs. If you're going away for a summer intensive, there's a good chance you're moving to a different climate than what you're accustomed to. What I find, and generally speaking in the US, is if you're west of the Rocky Mountains, it's going to be hot or humid. If you go east of the Rockies, chances are it's going to be hot and humid. And so if you're not heat acclimated, this is going to be something that impacts you, especially as you walk between classes, if you're performing outside, or if you're in studio spaces that are not air conditioned. And sometimes that happens. So I want to talk about hydration and how you can help yourself. The first thing I'm going to bring to mind is sports drinks. And for dancers, this can be really off-putting simply for the fact that we call them sports drinks. And there seems to be a little bit of a language barrier between sports and artistic athletes. However, I don't want you to shy away from them because they can be a very effective tool for you to keep yourself hydrated. Why is that? So that when we talk about hydration, we're talking about three primary factors, and those factors are water, sodium, and sugar. So those are the three things you really need to look at in terms of hydration. Why? It makes sense. We think about the water. That's pretty easy. And when you sweat, you lose water. It evaporates. Even when you're just hanging out, you'll have non-sensory losses where you're sweating and you don't realize it. You lose water from breathing. When you sweat, with it, you will lose electrolytes. The primary electrolyte you're going to lose is sodium. So we can get really caught up in all the other electrolytes you lose, but what we need to dial in for the most part is with sodium. So we want to look at that. And number three is sugar. Why sugar? Well, sugar plays a couple of roles. One, sodium and sugar help you to actually absorb the water and get it where you want it to go. So if you've ever glugged a bunch of water and then felt that sloshy kind of feeling inside when you're trying to train or perform, that's not what you want to do. You also don't want to drink a lot of water and then proceed to have to go to the bathroom. This is not working us in the right direction. What we want to do is drink the water and get it to ourselves where it can do the work. We also need that water in our blood to do a lot of things. One, you need it for blood volume. If your blood volume drops because you're sweating, you can get woozy and pass out. That's embarrassing. No one wants to pass out, right? It's also dangerous. Number two, it helps to dissipate heat. If you get overheated, it impacts your brain, it impacts your muscles, and ultimately it can kill you. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. The sugar in these beverages also helps you to give a little boost. So if you're working hard and you don't necessarily have time for eating during your training, the bit of sugar that comes with these can be helpful. So are sports drinks appropriate for everyone all the time? Not necessarily. When are they appropriate? These are the general rules for a sports drink. If it's hot and or humid, if you're working hard, and if it's for at least an hour, you may want to consider bringing in a sports drink. Other times when it's hot for dancers that you don't think about necessarily during the summer, but definitely as we move into performance seasons again, will be when you're performing and you're under stage lights. So for my dancers, I very frequently will show up with a merit gift that has different, kind of like a hydration station, which may even include Gatorade and different items. So this is something that you can use. Now, when we look at different sports drinks, they're all different. I've got a selection here, and I'll do a little mini review while we're here. Okay, these are some drinks I get asked about frequently. I also have some powders. I'll touch base with them. Okay, so when you're looking at a drink, typically, like I said, you want water, you want sodium, you want sugar. The other stuff is optional. The type of sugar you get makes a difference. What you want to see is look on the label and look. Dextrose is a good one. Sucrose. High fructose corn syrup is not absorbed in the same way, and so it's something you may want to be cautious of. It could lead you with some GI upset. So just pay attention to that. Another thing when we look is, are you getting a sports drink or are you getting a sports supplement? Supplements are a very different situation than a sports drink. So on this drink, when I look at the label, I see that it has a lot of added vitamins to it, which can seem really attractive, like, ooh, more is more. Not necessarily, because what I find, Liquid IV has this too, is they have mega doses of certain nutrients. And so if you're having more than one of these a day, you could end up putting yourself in a bad spot because you've overdone the vitamins and or minerals. And so something to definitely be cautious of. This drink also has, is supplemented with folic acid, which is a synthetic form of folate, and there are a lot of people who cannot metabolize folic acid. So if you're one of those people that can't metabolize folic acid well, this could work against you rather than for you, and you may notice that you have fatigue, brain fog, maybe headaches if you're getting too much of that on board. The other thing when we look at sports drinks where they're all not the same is, again, we want to look at what are the primary ingredients. So this one has 40 milligrams of sodium. Honestly, that's not enough. What we really want is to look at it between 200 and 300 milligrams per serving to keep you going. So look at those numbers and see how it works. Now, earlier today, I did a post on Lizzo and the TikTok trend with mustard and watermelon. Full disclosure, I have not tried this trend, though I will. But in the meantime, there is some benefit to it. And so the benefit is this, besides it just being kind of a wonky thing to try, watermelon is a great source of natural sugars. So you're getting the sugar. It's 91% water. You're getting the fluid. And when you pair it with something like French's prepared mustard or something like that, you're adding some sodium. If that seems completely bizarre to you, don't worry about it. You can also, it's pretty common for people to put, sprinkle melon and other fruits with salt. And in southern climates, we also see tahini served a lot. And that makes a lot of sense because tahini is really high in sodium. So when you pair it with the watermelon, it actually gives you a comparable, about a wedge of a regular size watermelon. This is a personal size. It definitely gives you about what a sports drink could give you. Since hydration is something you don't want to do, it's not about glugging water, it's not about fire hosing yourself before or after training. It's really something you should be doing consistently throughout the day. This is to make sure that your cells are ready for training and that they recover well. So I like to incorporate food into the hydration strategy for my dancers so that they're not just constantly glugging water, which can get a little tiring, and a lot of people just won't keep up that way. Plus, if you're just drinking the water, then you may or may not be getting the additional nutrients you need not only for hydration, but to sustain your performance. So traditional foods that would be a similar pairing to that watermelon and sodium would be like melon and prosciutto. If you don't like prosciutto, no problem, you can substitute here. I've got Canadian bacon, you could use ham or some other meat. You could substitute the melon too for say cucumber, though you won't get the same amount of sugar, and or melon. Other fruits will work really well too. Fruits and vegetables that are really liquidy. Here are some cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. Those are easy to throw into a bento or into your bag. Oranges are good. Again, any of these things you can doll up with a condiment that's sodium-like, and grapes are good as well. So these are kind of some of my first hits on hydration. If you have any questions, let me know. I don't think I saw any roll through here, but please let me know. You can shoot me a DM, add to the comments, or go over to the post that I put up today and comment there, and I will try and get some more of this going because I really want you to be prepared before you leave for those intensives, that you have some strategies in place so you can maximize your opportunity to train. All right, thank you so much.